Hi traders, Anthony here. In this video I'm going to show you what these lighter colored shaded areas are on the chart and how to enable this. These are our accumulation and distribution zones. It's similar to a volume profile insofar as you'll generally see where the market's ranging, like through this section down here for example, where there's a build-up of traders or trading volume at the level. So what we've done is we've marked out this range on the chart in the form of this shaded zone. Now if we go back in time, what you'll find, if we go back here for example, you can see we've marked out this range, that these ranges will overlap. So the more business has been done at this level, the thicker the shaded area, right? Like this one for example. Okay, so this one started back in here. Okay, it's usually the range prior to a move, and then it picked up more data here, and the market came up, retested this level. Okay, we did business through here as well. Right, so it's added to this shaded zone. So this shaded zone is going to go back so many candles on the chart. So you can see up here through this level, you can see that there's been a fair bit of business done through here. Okay, so we can see the trading volume has increased here. So we use these as levels of support and resistance. And if we see one of these signals, for example this green signal here, all right, we can see that this traded down through a gap. So there's very thin liquidity in this darker space. This is where there's most likely going to be resting liquidity, as in sell orders, trades up, trades into, taps into, sell orders that are resting through these levels here. This is not going to be looking at existing orders as in an order flow, if that makes any sense, indicator, which you'll only find in the futures market. This is going back and looking at previous levels of where business was done, okay, back here, and then it's projecting that forward. So if the market was ranging through here, this is a likely distribution level, and then it distributed. All right, taps back up into it. See that? Acts as resistance. All right, so we can see, so the level of, so however intense the shaded level is, the more resistance will be at that level. Most likely there's going to be greater resistance at that level. All right, okay, trades up, pulls back into resistance where there's resting orders here short. But what we're doing is we're picking up these levels here where the indicator recognizes that accumulation or distribution has been taking place, and then the levels overlap to give us bigger levels. See how it's traded down into this level here, and then it's rejecting here and moving back through this, more or less through this. It's thin liquidity. There's going to be a price gap. So where you see like this dot for example, if there's dark space above it, it's generally going to give us an opportunity to trade back through the gap generally. You see this dot here, okay, underneath here there was a prior level, okay, so we didn't get much of a pullback in here. Okay, it hit support here and kind of traded off. Down here it pulled in, but it's found support and trades up. What we need to do with this is actually look at this on all time frames. As I mentioned, the data is pulled from so many candles counted back. You know, you're going to get a lot more data on say a 30-minute chart than a 1-minute chart. So you could, if you wanted to, go for 15 or a 30-minute. You know, if you're looking at a trade opportunity, let's just say we're looking at this opportunity here. We had this breakout there. I'll mark that and send that across. So the breakout was here. We're looking for the pullback into the mean. That's our trade. That's where we buy. What are we trading into? I mean, we can see there's a gap up in here, but it's pulling back into, down into, you can see that it's pulling back down into this shaded zone, right? And it held here and moved. So that was quite a nice outcome, and we had this gap above it. Right, so it's pulled back down into this. It was resistance, now support. It held here and then it traded, and we had this gap to trade through. Okay, it'll push through some of these zones. There are areas where we need to consider where the market might stall. Right, so if we come into the higher time frame, we could actually mark it out. So if we go to the trend bars indicator and go here, this is it here. It's accumulation distribution. So we can bump this up so you can kind of make it intense and back it off, you know, as you need it. You don't want to overwhelm the chart with all this intense shaded color. So if we pull more data, see, we can see that it goes back as far as here, and it's pretty thick around here. So we've had this breakout. It's pulled back into a fairly thick zone here. So, you know, I mean, it's thinner here. So do we get a move, you know, through this thinner liquidity, so to speak? Consider that there's a lot of business that's being done here. These guys are bullish. It's buying. There's going to be a lot of stop losses under here. Trades back in, looking for liquidity, looking for these stop. This is a stop run or a pullback into liquidity. It takes out a lot of stop losses under here, right? And then there's enough support or enough buy orders in the order book under here to hold this up, right? If the selling overwhelms the buying, then that'll break through. So, you know, it just depends on the momentum. Okay, so we've got a breakout signal telling us that we've broken this range here. Now we're getting the pullback down into the mean, and that could be an interesting scenario. We were looking at this yesterday, actually, Ethereum. All right, so we do have a gap above here that this could trade through. Let's check it out on the 4 hour. See what we got. We'll just bump it up a little bit. They're going to be wider levels. Yeah, there's a lot of traffic. See how it's congested through here. Big level. Yeah, so on the 4 hour, see, it's picking up where there were accumulation and distribution zones before there was a move, like back up here. It's looking at the range, you know, where this originated, and it's pushing it across. So that's going to be a likely resistance level when the market moves up. See here as well, quite likely we're going to find that this will act as resistance through here, this whole range. You can see how the market trades down to it here, okay? Retests here and here. Okay, so it's a valid level. You know, for this to be bullish, it's got a lot of work to do to get through this congestion, through this range through here. Sorry, this is a daily, this yellow line here is a daily level, a key level on the daily time frame, where the market did exactly the same thing. It pivoted. That's a pivot here. So this is giving us an indication of where the market pivoted on the daily time frame. You see how well it acts as support, resistance here. So we've retested it here. We broke through, okay, retest now, and I'm waiting for this to fail to see if we can get momentum. The next port of call is going to be up through this level. And we've got our dots, we've got our line. The indicators are all based on the average true range or variations of the average true range calculator. I mean, they're very good. Okay, so these are important levels. You know, we've got this confluence of the red dots here and our trend line here and trading volume where it distributed from here. You know, if we can grind up above this, got this level here, then there's going to be most likely a move to there. So you want to sort of map out your targets according to where there was previous levels of support and resistance. It's pretty basic, so that the indicators are going to show us, you know, and if we get a break and retest of this level, most likely we'll get one of our alerts. This is on the 1 hour time frame. Mind you, we've received alerts on the lower time frame down here already. Get a break and retest of this, and then that's going to be a nice trade. You know, so we've got this price gap. See this thin leg back here? This is where there's liquidity, most likely going to be resting liquidity through here. There's very little liquidity through this thin leg, and the market generally will look to trade through thin or these price gaps looking for liquidity. It's most likely going to be resting in here. So bigger players will be planning their trades accordingly, like exactly as I'm mapping it out here, they're going to be looking for these levels, and then they'll have resting orders. I mean, look at this up here. This is big resistance. It's telling us since it's had a lot of business traded through here, so you'd want to mark out your or map out your targets according to these levels pretty much. And then we've got yellow line here. That's a weekly pivot right there, right at the base of this trading volume. And this sorry, that's a daily pivot, and this golden line is the weekly pivot. So this whole range through here, you can see, okay, is a big level of resistance, daily and weekly pivots right through here. So what you can do is, you can come into the bigger time frame here, the 1 hour or 4 hour, and if you're looking for a trade, and then just confirm some of these levels. And if you do this, if you level daily, we'll just project that across. If you come up to here and select drawings so that it's blue, it's going to copy these drawings that you put on the chart over to the lower time frames. And so we can map this out. We can grab that and call it SR level. Okay, we can pick this up. There's a daily up there. Now we can grab that. Well, it's going to draw onto your lower time frames. SR level there. So we can also do this. So this is planning. If you're looking at a longer term trade here, we want to get into these trends early, and the signals that we're getting will help us do that, and then we can plan the trade and look to stay in and make some decent money. So that's a daily. We'll mark that out. So I'll show you just how this looks then when we go down to the lower time frame. So level D. This is a level W, weekly level W. Because as I mentioned, the lower time frame, the 1 minute chart only goes back a certain number of candles. So if you do this on the higher time frame, you're planning your trade. SR level through here. I mean, we're pretty good, and then there's this level. See these highs here? So we want that. That's absolutely a valid level. SR level. So now we've got everything marked out more or less. So when we go down to the lower time frame from here, let's say we go to this chart. Let's just have a look and see. What I'll do, I'll just back off the shade on these. Alright, so this is going to pick up data that's on the 1 minute chart. Okay, so it's going to be a lot busier than the other. Alright, let's just go down from say 15 minutes and just see what we've got now. Okay, here we are. Now we've got plan of attack. So there's the 15 minute. We can clearly see where we're going to go with this, and well, we're most likely going to find support or resistance in this level, right? So there's going to be targets there. So 15 minute, and then you come down to the lower time frames, and you can actually see that it's overlapping. If I move this up, see there's a lighter colored line here. I've wound them back a bit, but we know that that's a level. I'll show you. Gain access to the indicators, guys. If you're not a member, just click on the link below the video. We'll just go okay. See how it's kind of increased the shade of that a little bit? That's where that was. And what have we got under here? Look at that. See that? So this is the 1 minute chart, and it's limited as far as how far it goes back. So we mark these out on the higher time frame. Big level here daily. The 1 minute's not picking up this because that's further. It's too far back. It came off here. Well, the 1 minute chart's giving us the daily there. Anyway, that's and then there's a weekly up here somewhere coming off here. Alrighty, that's about it, guys. Yeah, I'm a fairly small channel, so your thumbs up would help me greatly keep the YouTube algorithm happy, and me. Okay guys, have a great day. See you in the next video.